thinking, where is he? Where is God? And I felt that way when I was struggling with my eating disorder. It was like, how did this happen? You feel like it's so out of control, and you've done everything right in your life. You know, you were the good person. You went to church. You were reading your scriptures. You were praying. You did that's the only thing I was ever good at in my life, like really good at, is like I'm good at following instructions. Hi, I'm Janelle Page. I'm a personal self-improvement trainer, and I help women become positively fit. And positively fit is you at your absolute best. That's physically, emotionally, spiritually, and socially. And how I got to be, like, I guess some people call it a life coach, and I call myself a personal self-improvement trainer because I like to help people make weak things strong. So I'm kind of this nerd that took a play off of, I'm a physical health instructor, and you know, you lift weights, you try to get stronger, but I also thought we need to do that in all aspects of our life. And how I got there, I had like this huge journey, just like all of us. We have these stories, and our life experiences shape us in unique ways, and it's how we make our unique contribution. I'll start with how I got into health and fitness. I grew up totally competitive sports. I did volleyball, basketball, softball. I was always competing. Probably wasn't the best on the team, but I could hold my own. And after high school, I decided to take an academic scholarship, and so I didn't do sports in college, and I put on the inevitable freshman 15. And I was like, I think I was oblivious to it because I was never into that. I mean, I ate pizza, Oreos, and I ate healthy too, but I never worried about what I ate. But a comment was made about the freshman 15, and I remember, oh my gosh, I'm fat. And I knew fat was bad. I just grew up in a society that, you know, you guys are bombarded by it too, you know, that fat is gross and that you don't want to be fat. And I saw the pictures in the magazines, and the pretty people weren't fat. And I was not fat. I mean, my jeans were a little tighter. Maybe I was wearing a size 8 now. But anyhow, it launched me into my first diet, which I didn't know anything about dieting. I just knew you just didn't eat very much. So I cut my calories back to 1,000 a day, which is pretty low considering that I was running 5 miles every morning. I had a few awesome roommates, but they had some eating disorders that they taught me kind of the tricks of the trade, how to lose weight, and it wasn't a healthy way to lose weight, and pretty soon I wasn't eating anything at all, and I was dropping weight fast. And the crazy thing is that people were telling me how good I looked at first, and it kind of fed that, but then it was, if I really am honest with myself, it wasn't how good I looked. I was just getting a lot of like, oh my gosh, you're so skinny, and your retarded brain, when you're starving, doesn't think really straight. You think that they're thinking you look great, and so it even compounds the fear that you don't want to eat because you don't want to get fat. And so anyhow, long story short, my little stint with the eating disorder did not last very long. It lasted 1 year. It was a year of hell, and I was able to actually, I didn't get any help besides a lot of prayer, scripture study. I finally went to my ecclesiastical leader for help. I mean, to tell him, like I thought I had this sin that needed to be confessed, and I went into him and expressed my sin, and he almost laughed, which I was like, what, you know? He didn't see what I was doing as a sin. He was like, you need help. And so anyhow, I decided I would never do that again, and I went home and started eating normally that day, which is pretty much unheard of in eating disorder world. And it didn't go away, this obsession with, you know, wanting to be thin or anything, but what I learned is how to overcome these negative thoughts. Kind of developed a process of how I would deal with you're fat, or you know, you need to lose weight, and that system is what I kind of perfected and started using as I worked with girls who also struggled with eating disorders, helping them see their true beauty and realizing that too many times we let society define our worth, and especially difficult in our society. And so I would work with them, helping them understand that they're a daughter of God, and helping them realize their individual worth. And when they have that, for me, I think that's the only thing that saved me from my path of self-destruction, was realizing my innate worth. And so we start there. And I've found, and if you study the literature and the studies on eating disorders, that is one thing, if they can get these girls to latch onto, is a faith in a God and then a divine nature, that they can help them, their success rates go through the roof. So we build on that. And then I started, because I saw this huge need when I was working with these girls struggling with eating disorders, I started doing body image work. I just became very passionate about helping these girls understand that bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and what's healthy and happy, healthy weight for one person is not a happy, healthy weight for another. And you know, you've got stick thin people who aren't healthy, you've got overweight people that are in the best shape they've ever been in their lives. And so this idea that health is a behavior, not a body size, and teaching people that, you know, you exercise, you eat right, and then your body will reach its optimal weight. So I kind of started doing a lot of that work, and it was amazing how well that message was received. I got a lot of kickback from some of the health professionals saying, no, people need to be this shape, this size. But on the whole, everybody, like the general practitioners, were like, this really same message, and it's very true. You can have bodies of all shapes and sizes with healthy blood sugar levels, cholesterol, and everything. So we want to move to a healthy relationship with that. It's healthy to exercise. It is not healthy to obsess about exercise or what you put in your mouth. And then I started moving into the spiritual aspects and the emotional aspects, because so much of that was tied to the eating disorders. Emotional eating. So many people use food to cope. There's a hunger inside. People have this hunger, and we need to get comfortable with hunger. It's this concept that we always have to be satisfying any hunger, and you see it with men in pornography or women in pornography. You see they fill their sexual needs with instant gratification. Somebody gets hungry, they instantly have to eat. They're hungry for material possessions, they buy, they go into debt. And so letting people understand that hunger is a natural thing, and learning to be okay with hunger. Like, not saying you should starve yourself, but just being comfortable with the fact that you cannot always be satiated. And I think that's what helps us grow vertically, is when you're, I don't know, not trying to acquire things in a horizontal manner, but there's this hunger that draws you upward kind of a thing. It's kind of an interesting concept, but anyhow. And then I was doing all this body image work and I was public speaking, I was teaching seminars and courses, and it was really taking off, and it was awesome, and I was like feeling in my groove, and my marriage fell apart. It was a complete shock. I was happily married to the man of my dreams for 10 years, and we had wonderful 4 children, and I thought I had the most amazing marriage in the world, and I found out one day that it was not what I thought it was. But long story short is the commitment to change wasn't there, and so after 18 months I had to realize that I needed to move on. It was affecting me spiritually, it was affecting me emotionally and physically. It was not a good place for me to stay, and so I made the decision to leave, and that was a very, very difficult decision. And I remember thinking that I was going to die. It was, I didn't think I could survive that whole process. And I remember it was the same thing I did back in college. I reached out to my God, and He helped me through that time and gave me the strength. And I remember thinking, where is He? Where is God? And I felt that way when I was struggling with my eating disorder. It was like, how did this happen? You feel like it's so out of control, and you've done everything right in your life. You know, you were the good person. You went to church. You were reading your scriptures. You were praying. You did that's the only thing I was ever good at in my life, like really good at, is like, I'm good at following instructions. I'm the model student. I'm like the model, like, religious observer. Like, call it blind faith, whatever, I don't care. I was born obedient. I have an obedient spirit. And so I struggled with this concept of like, why did this happen to me? And it was like 2 seconds. That's the thing with me. I'm all about choice. And it was like, I can sit here and feel sorry for myself, or I can be like, dude, people go through windshields. Like, they get paralyzed. Like, my marriage fell apart. That stinks. Like, it really stinks. I'm a control freak. I could not control the actions of somebody else. But I can control how I will move forward. And that's what I decided. Is like, this will not ruin me. This will not define me. And I'm Janelle Page. I went back to my maiden name, and I'm like, I'm going, and nothing's gonna stop me. And I'm not amazing by any stretch of the means, but I feel like I have the potential to be. You know, I feel like life is it's gonna be good. had to say one thing, my message is just remember that you are a daughter of God and you have infinite worth. He loves you. You are special. You are amazing. You are beautiful.